Well, welcome back to another episode of I Got Next podcast. It's me, Emmanuel Ciafa. We got Guts and Austin.
What's up?
So let's get started. We don't have that many NFL content to talk about. Only thing that's been going on is Julio Jones. Where is Julio Jones going? We saw him on Undisputed talking with Shannon Sharp, saying that he requested a trade. He requested a trade for a while, but now it's official. So. Guess where do you think Julio Jones is going?
Well, one interesting location that I saw for him was the Titans, alongside AJ Brown. And what I think would be nice about that is they lost so much receiving talent this year. They lost Corey Davis and they lost Jonnu Smith, and they never really replaced those guys. So they definitely need some receiving help, and Julio Jones would definitely be a step in the right direction. And obviously, we saw the video from AJ Brown on social media basically pleading his case for it. So they're definitely linked together.
Austin?
I want him to go to the Colts. It's a perfect situation. Great O-line. Colts need wide receiver help. He can be the clear number one and help give Carson Wentz another chance.
Okay. Well, Austin took I was going to say the Colts too, because Colts really need some wide receivers. Colts can make a deep playoff run. I'm more confident in the Colts in winning the division than the Titans. And if the Colts get him, that can help out Carson Wentz a lot too. So we already know that defense can carry Carson Wentz to the playoffs. Let's see if they can carry him to. If they get Julio Jones, let's see if they can get him to deeper in the playoffs instead of first round exit. So
yeah.
Okay. So OTA has been going on. Aaron Rodgers didn't show up to it, but did Jordan Love, and teammates and the GM and the coaches like what they've seen from Jordan Love. So does it look like Jordan Love is most likely be the starter instead of, like, if they trade away Aaron Rodgers, would they actually try to get a better starter than Jordan Love, or do you think he would be the future franchise QB for the Packers? Awesome.
They should try Jordan Love out. He's a first-round pick for a reason. You can't draft a first-round quarterback and then never give him a chance. So I hope he looks good in training camps. He has that expectation. And the Packers, if they trade Aaron Rodgers, they should trade him for some helping asset instead of a quarterback in return.
Yes.
All the stuff that you're hearing about how the Packers like what they see from Jordan Love is some grade A cap. I'm telling you, they don't like anything they see from Jordan Love. They just have to deal with it because that's their situation. Aaron Rodgers didn't show up, so now they have to deal with what they got. And all of a sudden, you're hearing, "Oh, we love Jordan Love. Never mind, we think he's great." So I don't believe this for 1 second. They're just saying that because this is what they have to deal with now.
Yeah, I can agree with Getz right here, because like they're probably just saying this to boost Jordan Love's morale. I saw Aaron Jones saying, like, "Oh man, I like what I see from Jordan Love. I came here surprised and stuff." But like, you're just saying that to make the media happy, like to get Jordan Love happy, so you could be a good teammate.
And from the Packers officials, they're thinking about some leverage. They have some leverage on Aaron Rodgers if Jordan Love is actually good. Then they could be like, "Well, we don't really need you as much as you think we need you." But I think in the end it's going to show they do need Aaron Rodgers as much as we think.
Yeah. So Vinatieri, kicking legend. I'm pretty sure he's retiring soon. So will he be in the Hall of Fame? Gets.
I'm not even sure. Are there any kickers in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm confident they are.
Well, if there are some, then he definitely deserves to be in there because he very well could be the greatest kicker of all time. Especially, is he the all-time points leader?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got to be in the Hall of Fame. That, along with his clutch moments in Super Bowls, he's got to be a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Kickers are in the Hall of Fame too. So yeah.
Yeah, it's not like he's breaking some barrier that no kicker's ever been in the Hall of Fame. That's all I was wondering. But he's the all-time NFL points leader and has just some of the most historic moments.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's no debate. He's just in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the greatest kickers, and he's one of the best distance kickers and accuracy kickers. There's no really reason why he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
And then along with, distance and accuracy, people can make the ones in the regular season, but his ability to kick in the clutch or in difficult conditions like the Tuck Rule game with the Raiders, he hit the winning field goal in that, and it was just pouring snow. So in some of the most difficult situations, he hit some of the biggest kicks.
Yeah. So let's get into the more NBA topics with the playoffs going on, and let's talk about who's getting evicted, including the bubble. Including not the bubble. Including the playing tournaments here. So the first team from the playing tournament who got evicted from the playoffs was the Hornets. And what do you guys feel with up next for the Hornets since they weren't in the playoffs, they still have they have a chance to win the lottery. So what do you think they're gonna do this off season for the Hornets next? Awesome.
I feel like they're going to do absolutely nothing. We all tend to forget it's the Hornets. They don't have a really good pick. It's really mediocre. Their whole offseason and next season depends on how well LaMelo Ball develops and how well PJ Washington and Jaden McDaniels progress. And yeah, they don't have a really good draft pick this year, probably anyway. And the NBA draft isn't known for being very deep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they took a big step forward this year, and they looked like they were going to be that 4th, 5th seed for a long time this season, and then kind of coinciding with the Melo injury, it kind of went off the rails, and they just slumped to the end of the season. So it's going to be interesting if they come back next year and they're this first half version of themselves, or what they've been this second half of the season. That's what we need to see.
In my opinion, for them to be like the top 4 seed again, LaMelo has to be averaging 20, 7 and 7. He needs to take that next step.
Yeah. No, I just see them being back where they were for the past 5 years, being right in the middle.
I can see that too.
Yeah, not in the playoffs and not rebuilding. They're right in the middle. They haven't really changed that much. Just because it's LaMelo is just like being Kemba. Having Kemba, they were just in the middle. Made the playoffs once when Kemba was playing for them. And if they don't make a huge step, if someone else besides LaMelo don't make a huge step, they're still gonna be right stuck in the middle. And Devontae Graham's a free agent too, so let's see if they pick him up again after him coming off the bench. So next team was the Spurs. So what do you guys think about the Spurs' future? You gotta keep in mind that DeMar DeRozan's a free agent this year.
I kind of like the Spurs' future. They got a couple young studs like Lonnie Walker, Dejounte Murray, Devin Vassell. Jakob Poeltl isn't doing terrible for them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like they're just going to be stuck in the middle for a while. They need a game changer. In the West, you need a superstar to make the playoffs, and the Spurs don't really have that right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Spurs don't really have a superstar. They have good starters, but not no one to take them to the playoffs. And after DeMar DeRozan does leave, that's gonna hurt their chances of making the playoffs a lot. So, yeah. And also losing LaMarcus Aldridge too. So, due to the buyout. So, gets.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said. And the West is so deep. It's so hard, and especially if you're going to be average, you might rather want to go into a rebuild or, see what your options are.
We don't know if Craig Popovich might retire too. So.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the next team was the Pacers. So, what do you think about the Pacers going forward?
They have a good team. I mean, they were injured. T.J. Warren's out, Miles Turner's out. They could run it back and legit be a top 3 seed if they get hot. They have T.J. Warren, Malcolm Brogdon, um, Miles Turner, Domantas Sabonis. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, they have a solid group off the bench too. They have a good team. I don't know if it'll make them win the finals, but they could definitely contend for the Eastern Conference Finals.
Guts.
Yeah, I think for them, yeah, they could run it back and be a top 4 seed next year, especially in the East. But for them, they're kind of just lacking that star player, and it's a star-driven league. You need that one guy that your team can lean on in those big games. They don't really have that.
Yeah. I feel like their team's good, but the only problem with it is the coaches, because you saw all these rumors saying how T.J. Warren wanted to request a trade before he got injured because of the coach. Someone told me that T.J. Warren decided to do the season-ending surgery himself during the middle of the season, so he won't have to play. And you heard about the coach getting in a fight with a player, so that doesn't really look good. And the Pacers say they're keeping around the head coach, so I guess they see something that I don't see in him. So I feel like if the coaching is better, they'll make it far. But coaching and injuries are the reason why the Pacers didn't make it too far in the playoffs. So I think the final team was the Warriors. How the Warriors, Steph Curry made the whole entire run, getting up to the 8th seed, and then losing to LeBron, then losing to John Morant. We see what the Warriors are doing next.
The Warriors, man, it's so unfortunate. Literally, I had them as my number 2 seed in our season preview. Where do you guys have them?
Number 3, number 4.
I'm like top 5 probably.
Right. So we knew they had a good team, and then Clay gets hurt before the season, and the team becomes a little too reliant on Steph. And I thought the addition of James Wiseman would make a little bit of a bigger impact than it did, and Andrew Wiggins would step up more. They have good pieces, but I think they're lacking depth as well.
Yeah, I can agree with that. James Wiseman getting injured hurt them a lot, and then Andrew Wiggins did do good, but that wasn't until like the second half of the season. In the beginning of the season, he wasn't doing so well. But the whole time, Draymond Green did decent, I guess. Like sometimes in the season that he didn't do so well. I didn't really see Eric Pascal that much since he was the leading scorer besides Steph Curry last year. I thought they would have to use him a lot more.
Yeah. Also, Draymond Green, that makes an interesting point. What you mentioned here is on this team now that was lacking a little bit of weapons, you can see how much of an offensive liability Draymond is. Like, watching him shoot a three-pointer is just ugly.
Yeah.
It hurts.
I feel like the season was a success, though, because they were the 8th seed with Wiseman missing the majority of the year, Clay not even playing. And then, again, they're going to get a top 3 pick this year because the Timberwolves
are dumb.
Yeah, but I don't think it necessarily makes it a success because I think before the injuries, they would have been looking to go into the season at least top 4 seed in the West.
I mean, yeah, but you can't control injuries. I don't like basing 6 seasons off of success and failures off of injuries itself because you can't really control that. Like the Sixers last year, you can say the season was a failure because they were the 6th seed and they had a fully healthy squad for most of the year. But
so they got bounced first rounds.
Yeah.
Been looking for more than that, but
yeah. But I feel like the Warriors can make a huge step for next year. If James Wiseman step up, Klay Thompson stay healthy this year, and I feel like Steve Kerr need to make the decision who to start. It's going to be Eric Pascal or Draymond Green. Because
Draymond Green, 100%. He was like the third candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. He is so impactful.
Yeah, he's impactful for them on the defensive end, and he's a leader for them, and he's been there so long. But he is an offensive liability.
Yeah.
That's just the thing.
But when you have Stephen Clay and Andrew Wiggins in the starting lineup, all healthy, you don't need all that offensive power for the power forward position.
Yeah, that's how it's been in previous years. They've just had enough firepower around him that he hasn't stood out. His offensive shortcomings haven't stood out as much. But that's just not what the case was this year, and it kind of came up. So
this year I agree with you on the offensive. He was not too good.
I'm saying, like, Draymond Green's getting older, and he's going to regress. So they have to make the decision about Eric Pascal.
But his game, Draymond Green isn't like his game isn't based off of athleticism. It's based just off of IQ. And like players like Chris Paul, Rajon Rondo, their IQ doesn't go away. That's why they're so valuable at like 36, 35.
Yeah, but definitely find a way to get Eric Pascal involved because he does have a potential.
I mean, you could always run small ball when James Wiseman's out because that's becoming more of a thing in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But they could trade away Kelly Oubre Jr. The Thunder, got a steal, first round pick for him.
Yeah, that is a little crazy.
Mm-hmm. But last team that got evicted was a huge surprise since they were in the NBA Finals last year, the Miami Heat. So since they actually got out in the playoffs and they had no chance of winning the lottery, what do you feel like what's next for the Miami Heat? Because Chris Nunn is a free agent. I'm pretty sure Goran Dragic is also a free agent too.
Just sign people in free agency. Miami is a big market. They'll never be like bottom tier of the Eastern Conference. They're always going to get some solid free agents just because they play in South Beach.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, and you still have Jimmy Butler. You still have Bam Adebayo. I'm forgetting people here, but you still have the core pieces of what was that NBA Finals team. But even last year, I think they just caught lightning in a bottle and made that finals run. I don't think, at least I didn't expect them to be that same team this year, really.
Yeah, I didn't really expect them to be the same team because, like, they came out of the bubble. They only had, like, a 2-month off season. Same thing with the Lakers. You see how both teams started slow. Both teams has injuries. Like, Jimmy Butler wasn't really playing the beginning of the season because he was suffering with injuries. And you saw how Tyler Hero didn't do so well. He was also a key member on that team last year during the playoffs run. So, well, and seeing how they lost Victor Oladipo after acquiring him from Trey and losing Kelly Olynyk too. That helped.
I feel like Tyler Hero got a little too big too fast, and he thought he was all that, and he already made it. And this year he took a step backwards, even when we expected him to take a step forwards. He just was not that guy.
Yeah.
It got to his head a little bit.
That's the same dude that the Heat said no to trade for James Harden. They could have had James Harden, but decided not to trade him away. It was the same thing with who was with the Thunder last year. Russell Westbrook said Miami or Houston. They decided not to trade away Tyler Hero to the Thunder for Russell Westbrook, and those are 2 all-star players right there for Tyler Hero. So, but besides that, I feel like a way to step forward is to get Chris Nunn on back and get Goran Dragic to try to convince him to a team-friendly contract right there. So, because he is getting up there in age too. So, and
yeah, or maybe just move on from Goran Dragic and let the young guys play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he didn't really do too good, and I feel like if Bam Adebayo keep on making a step forward, like I think he will, it'd be a top 5 center in the league. So if he keep on making that step forward, and also develop his offensive game too, because we saw him with the mid-range shot was working out for him, but The thing is, against the Bucks, they was forcing him to shoot the mid range, which was much. They rather him shooting mid rangers than going in the paint and posting up and slashing. So if he can work on his offensive game a bit more, he'd be more deadly for the Miami Heat. So, and also them acquiring Precious from the draft last year was a good move. And if he can develop in the way that I think he will, that would be great for them. So
Yeah, they'll be back. They'll be back. Long story short, they'll be back next year.
okay, so let's just go into our playoff bracket. Let me pull up the first one right here. So I'm pretty sure this is mine. Okay, so I made this a little bit late, so I included the Miami Heat losing.
Are you sure that isn't mine, Manny? Because I have the same exact one.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So basically, even though let me start with the East, okay? Even though I'm a huge Russell Westbrook fan, I have like the Wizards losing in 5, okay? Wizards losing in 5. Sixers advance. And then even though the Hawks are losing 3-1 against the
No, the Hawks are up 3-1.
I'm tired. The Hawks are up 3-1 to the Knicks. I feel like it's Atlanta. They always choke in every single sport. So Knicks are going to win in 7. I still believe in King Julius and.
But that's not what you have up here.
Manny, that's mine.
Yeah, I see this one has Hawks here.
I think it's showing the wrong one.
Yeah.
That's mine, man.
Oh, okay. It's showing the wrong
I'm
one.
trying to steal Austin's for credit.
This is the one circle, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so.
Yeah, Knicks. You think they're going to make the 3-1 comeback? That would be legendary.
Okay, Austin, go take it away. It's not my bracket.
Yeah, no. Now it's your bracket. Now I see your bracket.
Oh, now, oh my gosh. Really?
No! Now it's Austin's bracket.
Okay, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, just talk about yours. And
Okay, so like I was saying, I had Knicks.
take this one off the screen because it's confusing. If you're, yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna. Sharing screens doesn't work for me. This same thing happened last year too. So I had the Knicks making the 3-1 comeback, and then next I had the Bucks beating the Heat because they already did that. Then I had the Celtics, and that I thought this would be a much more closer game, but turned out it wasn't. So it's gonna be Nets. Oh my gosh, I put Celtics in on accident. I meant to put Nets. Nets. I have Nets winning in 5, and then we go over to the West.
What is going on?
That was my grandma called me. So.
Okay. Now you're moving on to the West, I think.
Yeah, West. Okay, I have the Grizzlies beating the Jazz in 7 because I believe in John Morant.
Wow.
I don't believe in the Jazz. I feel like the Jazz aren't the real number 1 seed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the Jazz feel like the Bucks last year for me. So, and then I got Clippers losing to the Mavericks in 7, another 7-game series right here. And then I got Trailers beating Nuggets in 6, and I got Lakers beating the Suns. I would like to say in 6 for that one too. And then let's go back to the East for the second round. I got Sixers versus Knicks. Sixers winning 5. And I got Bucks versus Nets. And I got Bucks winning that in 7 because I feel like no one on the team can stop Giannis. And no, like it's like I'm not predicting someone getting injured, but like most of those players, like all 3 of those players besides Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Well, no, James Harden's not really the best person in the playoffs. If Kyrie Irving or Kevin Durant have one bad game, that's going to help out the Bucks a lot. So I feel like the Bucks are going to win that in 7. And then we got a conference championship game against Sixers and Bucks. I got Sixers in 6. And then we over here in the West, they got Grizzlies versus Mavericks. Mavericks went down 5. Lakers versus Trailblazers. Lakers went down 5. We got Mavericks versus Lakers. I feel like the Lakers sweep the Mavericks right here in the conference championship game. And then I got Lakers versus Sixers. Lakers win this in 7. Okay. Who want to go next?
I'll go next.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, so Sixers sweep the Wizards, and Atlanta finishes off the series versus the Knicks. Milwaukee's already won. Brooklyn finishes off the series versus Boston. Very easy, all easy in the East. Utah does not get the 1-8 upset. I'm just going to say that because it just doesn't happen. And over the course of a 72-game season, Utah showed us that they were just better than the Grizzlies. I think the Clippers are going to tough out this one versus Dallas. I think they're a little bit tougher, and they're just going to throw bodies at Luka down the stretch here and hopefully be able to stop him. And if you stop Luka, you basically have the Mavericks. Then I think Denver's going to win the series versus Portland here. They have the MVP, and that's just my reasoning for that one. I'm going with the MVP on this one. And then LeBron and the Lakers are too much for Phoenix, even though they lost Anthony Davis last night, potentially for the whole playoffs. So then we go back to the East. Sixers easily beat the Hawks in five games, let's say. And then Milwaukee versus the Nets. See, Manny said no, they have no one to stop Giannis, which is true. But the Nets are just going to score 120, and the Bucks aren't going to be able to keep up with that. So I'm taking the Nets in 6 there. Okay, now back to the West. We get a Utah versus Clippers matchup here. I'm going to take the Clippers. Kawhi, Paul George, their toughness, I think they're more made for the playoffs than the Jazz, I think. Then Denver versus the Lakers without AD, I'm going to assume. I'm going to take the Lakers because King James is the GOAT. That's all I need. So that leaves us with the conference finals of Sixers-Nets. The Nets are going to beat the Sixers. It's like number 1 offense versus number 1 defense, which makes this series interesting. But I just think the 3 stars all playing together, hopefully at this point, is going to be too much for the Sixers. Like you can throw Ben Simmons at 1, like, oh, we have Ben Simmons, defensive player of the year. You can throw him at 1, but then you give the ball to Harden, or Ben goes on Harden, you give it to Durant. Even Kyrie can go off. And then on the other side, we have Lakers versus Clippers, and LeBron is the GOAT once again, and he runs LA, and he's going to beat the Clippers, and we're going to go to the finals. So now we have a Nets versus Lakers finals. And what Anthony Davis is out with was like a left knee sprain, which I'm no doctor, but I'm just going to say he's out for the finals for the sake of this. And LeBron beats the 3-headed monster of the Nets by himself without Anthony Davis and becomes the official undisputed GOAT.
Wow. Wow. We saw a LeBron sexual made.
He goes from play-in tournament to losing Anthony Davis in the first round and then winning the championship versus an insane super team. That'll add to his resume. Alongside the 73-9 Warriors, we now have the Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving Nets, along with the Greg Popovich Spurs. And I'm not going to include OKC because that one was kind of easy, done in 5. Little gentleman sweep.
All the games were close, so if no one remembers it. So Austin, let's go with yours. Hopefully be less biased than you're a Sixers fan. It's going to be biased.
Was that biased?
Yes, it was biased.
All right, so this is pretty easy. The Jazz are going to win in 5. Mavericks are going to win in 7. The Jazz, they're the number one team. They're the best shooting team in the league. They're the most consistent shooting team in the league, too. They're the number one seed for a reason. And the Blazers are beating the Nuggets because it's hard to get other scoring options other than Jamal Murray, who's been out, and Jokic, who's going to do his thing. It's just all comes down to CJ and Dame. And if they can outscore Jokic, they win. Lakers beating the Suns. LeBron's the GOAT. That's all I got to say for that. Sixers beating the Wizards in 4, pretty easy series. Russell Westbrook is no match for Embiid. Hawks are beating the Knicks, and I created this before the playoffs started, so I'm not basing that off of recent success. I like Trae Young, and also Julius Randle is turning into playoff Pascal Siakam. I don't know what Julius Randle is doing. Why is he doing step-back threes? I don't understand. But and then Bucks, Heat, Bucks in 4. Knew that from the start. Nets and Celtics. I thought they were going to win in 4, but it looks like they're probably going to win in 5. And then in the second round in the West, Jazz, Mavs. Luka's too much to handle, so the Mavs are going to win that in 6. Blazers, Lakers. Lakers in 4. Blazers are known for getting swept in the playoffs. On the other side, 76ers and Hawks. Sixers in 5. It's pretty easy. Throw Ben Simmons to Trae Young. They're not going to do too much. Bucks, Nets. I'm going Nets in 7. It's a really good matchup. You have Drew Holiday, Giannis, and Chris Middleton. Those are the 3-headed monster that could defend their 3-headed monster. So it's going to come down to the role players, but I still think the Nets are going to win in 7. And then Mavs, Lakers. Lakers in 7. Playoff Luka is different. That's all I got to say for that. But the Lakers are still going to pull it out. And then Sixers, Nets. I'm going Nets in 5. They're too much. They're just going to throw doubles at Embiid, and we all know what happens in the playoffs when you throw doubles at Embiid. It doesn't go too well. Ben Simmons is going to be a liability unless he steps it up. Tobias Harris, it's hard to rely on him in the Eastern Conference Finals to carry you to the finals when Embiid's getting doubled and there's not much options left. And then I have Lakers and Nets in the finals, and I'm going Nets in 5.
Okay. That's more better than gets. So.
Yeah, what you said about the Sixers is very true there. Tobias as your number 2, I feel like Tobias is a good 3. He's not quite a championship 2.
Yeah, that's if Ben Simmons doesn't step it up. Ben Simmons has been doing good so far, but it's the Wizards.
Yeah.
That doesn't. Yeah, I'm guessing that's mine. Yeah.
Is this yours?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I give up. Okay. So I'm trying to show Will. I'm basically gonna explain what Will shows. So in the West, we'll have Sixers being the Wizards, Hawks being the Knicks, Bucks being the Heat, Nets being the Celtics, and then Sixers being the Hawks, Nets being the Sixers, and then okay. Oh my gosh, this is the wrong. I'm reading off the wrong one. Okay, this is Mices. Okay, I was like wondering why it's showing the Nets winning. Okay, all right, let me try this out again. I'm so bad at this. Okay, does it show a circle around it?
Yep.
Okay, this is Mices. Okay, you can tell he's a Sixers fan here, a real biased Sixers fan. Okay, so we got Sixers. Like I said, Sixers being the Wizards. He said Knicks being the Hawks, Bucks being the Heat, Nets being the Celtics. Then you have the Nets being the Bucks, Sixers being the Knicks, Sixers being the Nets going to the finals. And then since he's a really, really Jordan sexual, doesn't really like LeBron, hates LeBron, he has LeBron losing the first round. And LeBron never lost in the first round at all. So like he's not Michael Jordan always losing the first round.
Yeah, come on. Only Jordan does that. Only Jordan gets down in the first round.
You have Suns being the Lakers, Blazers being the Nuggets. He has Mavericks being the Clippers, and then he has Jazz being the Grizzlies. Then he has Jazz being the Mavericks, Suns being the Blazers, Jazz being the Suns. And then you had Jazz versus Sixers, where him being the Sixers fan he is, Sixers winning. He probably have Sixers winning in 4 probably. So knowing him, so yeah.
Such a joke. How did the Sixers ever beat the Nets? In what world?
I just have the Bucks being the Nets because that's more believable than Sixers. Not gonna lie, but and also playoff Harden is really dangerous too. So, but next topic is we already talked about that. 6 man of the year, Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson won 6 man of the year. I was surprised they announced it during like the whole entire first round. Thought they would announce the second round, but. So, you guys' thoughts about Jordan Clarkson? Thought anybody else should have won over Jordan Clarkson?
No, it's a no-brainer. There wasn't really much competition for 6 man of the year this year. No Lou Williams dropping it 23 a game.
While playing 30 minutes per game.
Man, you'll never get over that. He's always like, oh,
it was Montrezl Harrell, the bum. Like, it should have been Dennis Schroeder. Like, bro. It should have won. It should have been MVP. Schroeder was 6 man of the year, and Lou Dort was defensive player of the year that year. Like, bro. And coach of the year for us, too.
Oh, and Shai was MVP probably, too.
No, I said Chris Paul.
Oh, okay.
Shai was only averaging like 19 last year.
Yeah. Yeah, congrats to Jordan Clarkson.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats on your little award.
I don't know why he wasn't playing for that when he was on Cleveland. So, like, LeBron needed that in 2018.
When LeBron carried him to the finals, he was on that 2018 team, which was one of the worst squads LeBron ever carried to the finals.
Mm-hmm. Like, we probably need that 20-per-game scoring for LeBron. Like, I don't know what's happening, like, Jordan. Like, you couldn't play that against Steph Curry, but you can do that for against Steph Curry now. So, but and then we see another former Laker winning most improved player, and that's Julius Randle. And now let's see his success in the playoffs so far. Been his success in the playoffs so far,
or lack of success.
Mm-hmm. Winning, and I can agree. I think most of us agree with this. It was going to be Julius Randle. I don't know who was third, but I know it was him or Jeremy Grant. It was Michael Porter Jr. Was third. So I can't wait till they release all the voting, who voted for this person and stuff, because that's when it gets fun. See, you see, like, oh man, LeBron didn't win the unanimous MVP because this dude voted for some random dude from Germany. Like, always something like that. So I'm pretty sure have they announced defensive player or MVP?
No.
Nah, those are the big ones. They're not gonna announce those yet.
Yeah, they definitely will announce it after second round. Like, yeah, I feel like after Steph Curry not making the playoffs, his chances went downhill. So for winning MVP, so
did they take that into account?
It's a regular season award.
Yeah, but the play-in tournament, like, is it considered regular season or
playoffs?
Okay. If he does somehow win, he'd be the first night.
But anyways, it's Jokic. It's done.
Yeah.
If you look at the odds that the odds makers are making, it's like way leaning Jokic.
Yeah.
If Embiid didn't get in,
but he's not the best center. Okay, I'm just gonna say this: he's not the best center in the league. It's Joel. Okay, so.
Unfortunately, we don't get to see those guys play enough each other because of the different conferences, and we don't really get to see those guys play.
Yeah. Hey, Jokic, come to the Knicks.
Can you remember the last time those guys played? Who really won that battle?
I think he was injured. Both of them, like, Joel was injured.
Last time they both played against each other, Jokic had a game winner.
Ooh.
Last year.
Ooh. They played Nuggets this year, and like everybody was injured with COVID protocol.
Tyrese Maxey dropped like 38.
Yeah.
Was that when the whole Sixers team was under COVID protocol?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So LeBron can go out, go out drinking with his friends and don't get called out for COVID protocol. So I'm not going to talk about that. But he said it was an excuse. Everybody was vaccinated, he said. So but that's what they all say. But Cavs aren't certain in keeping Jarrett Allen and also Colin Sexton. Is this a bad move for the Cavs? The Cavs will always be the Cavs, okay?
This is why they're a poverty franchise. You trade for a guy like Jarrett Allen just to lose interest in him halfway through the year. And how could you lose interest in him? He's one of the best defensive centers.
Yeah, and Colin Sexton, that's one of the few things you got going for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he took a huge step this year he's like averaging in 25s now.
You have the whole entire Sexton duo with Jarrett Allen too, so
I don't understand the Cavs.
The Cavs will be Cavs. So like that drafting Darius Garland, even though they're both under 6'2", so
Like any player that isn't LeBron doesn't mean they're bad. Like
Yeah.
you don't got to trade away every player that isn't LeBron.
this dude's not LeBron. Trade him away. If he's not 6'9", the greatest player of all time, 250 pounds, trade him away. But yeah, if they do trade away Colin Sexton, that'd be a dumb move. But the Thunder are always looking for something to pair him up with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So
Be a terrible playmaking duo.
no, we're good. We're gonna get Jalen Green or.
There's only one ball. There's only one ball for those two guys.
Chris Paul to the Cavs, where his career dies, or he takes him to the first seed.
That'd be brutal. Guy's ring chasing, but he just keeps getting sent to like young teams, and then he makes them great, and then they're like, "Oh no, never mind, sorry, see ya."
You think Kevin Love will actually be on a different team next year? Because
I hope so, but I don't think he will because his contract's huge and he never plays.
pray for Kevin Love. No, he's in Cleveland, so I'd rather be in Detroit than Cleveland. So
No, it's just you.
I'd rather retire. He's got enough money.
Oh, speaking of which, LeBron was on the shop.
That was hilarious. I saw this.
He was talking about somehow a city got in the conversation. He was talking about Orlando, and he was like, "Oh, I hate Orlando." Like after the bubble, like my daughter asked me, "Oh, you want to go to Disney World and stuff?" He's like, "I can't take Orlando." If he gets in some action, what if he get traded? They're like, "I retire." So like, that was just hilarious right there. So like,
it's not against the Orlando Magic franchise. It's against being.
It can't be against did LeBron lose to Orlando in 2009? Yeah. So and when they win six games too, so LeBron probably has some PTSD from that. So
he has PTSD from the bubble, even though he won it all. Like that was just must have been such a hard experience to be locked up like that.
And I'll get PTSD too from being locked into Disney World.
Yeah. Well, Mickey.
Mickey.
Oh, bro, that's a.
I saw one said when Kevin Durant has a bad game, it said K Disney.
Bro, I saw A Disney too. Bro, the whole time Miami Bubble Guppies. It's hilarious. I'm like, why are they calling it Bubble Guppies? Then there's someone's like, oh, it's because the bubble. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's clever.
I'm sticking with K Disney when the Sixers go against the Nets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Mickey's the GOAT, so it doesn't matter. So okay, I just gotta alert. The GM of the Packers won't trade Rodgers. That's not news at all. So, and my favorite coach of the league is still staying with the Kings. Luke Walton, the greatest coach in the league. The Kings saying they're going to keep Luke Walton one more season. Getz, your thoughts on this?
We all hate on Luke Walton here, so I think we're going to be pretty unified in our answer here. How? What? They weren't even in a sniff of the playoffs this year. How?
This is not the same Kings team from 2 years ago. 2 years ago, there was 2 games away from making the playoffs.
And the potential, it just looked like their potential was just going to keep going up. They had a young squad and everything. It just looked like it was going to keep going up. But they've stuck with this guy, and he's sank them.
You have 2 players, 2 of their key core players requesting from trade, Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley III, because of Luke Walton, okay? And then you already have people with terrible contracts like Harrison Barnes, and where he is good, but he's not $22 million per year good. So, and this is why who was it? Vlade Divac left the team too. So he really said oh, we don't make the playoffs in this amount of years. Even though they were going to make the playoffs, he missed the playoff by 1 game and retired.
I know he was a little too honest there. I mean, first of all, why would you even say that? Because now you're putting yourself on the clock. But then I was like, oh, you've actually done a good job in building a team here, and you were so close. So you should be like, you know what? I'm gonna stay anyway because it kind of counts.
Yeah.
But since he left, it's been just downwards.
Yeah. It's I just hate Luke Walton. Just watching Kings games that actually comes on TV.
The few of them.
Yeah, the few of them. They're just painful for him to watch. And then the way he treated Buddy Hield last season and this season, the way he used Marvin Bagley III wrong. And then you also can say Vlade Divac should have drafted Jaren Jackson Jr. He'd probably be a better fit for the team, but let's go to the next topic. Let's go to some football here, okay? So this put a smile on my face, okay? Well,
let's start with the Europa League final. That didn't put a smile on your face.
Oh my gosh.
Manchester United losing penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Always a brutal way to end a soccer game.
Mm-hmm. I guess I'm not really too knowledgeable about football here, but why the penalties? Why?
Well, I played my last soccer game for my career 2 weeks ago now, and our last game ended in penalties because it was a cup game. It's after 120 minutes, so first we go into the extra time, but then you play an extra 30 minutes, and it's 120 minutes, and, to have these players run around any longer than that is cruel. All of our players started to cramp up and just drop to the floor. Playing that long, especially in a sport like this where you're running so much, is just brutal. So it's like a last resort to decide it. It's the only way.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just thought they'd do how hockey does shoot.
Oh, you mean the running?
Yeah, this they have the goalie. Someone comes up, kick the ball for penalty kicks and stuff.
No, I like the way that soccer does it. It is so you're standing at the halfway line. It is the longest, loneliest walk up to that spot. You place the ball down. You take a deep breath, and then you just have to pick a side and hope the goalkeeper doesn't go that way.
Yeah. So they don't do that for cup games soccer?
No, they don't do that for league games. In the cup, if it's not decided in regular time, then they have to go to penalties. Because somebody has to advance to the next round.
Yeah, and that hurt.
Yeah. And then the Champions League final.
That put a smile on my face.
Yeah, I was rooting for Chelsea as well because German coach, 3 German players in their starting 11. So I was rooting for Chelsea a little bit. Here's the thing. Pep Guardiola overthought this game. He didn't play either of his 2 defensive mids, Rodri or Fernandinho. And in 59 of 60 games this year, he played at least one of those guys. The only time he didn't was this Champions League final, which left them way too vulnerable for a Chelsea counterattack, which was what they ended up scoring the goal on. And Pep has a tendency of doing this. He overthinks these games sometimes because he's the greatest mind in football. But sometimes he just overthinks it. Sometimes in a final, you just have to play your best 11 versus your opponent's best 11 and just say that my 11 is better than yours and we're going to win this game. He just didn't do that. And he did the same thing at Bayern, my favorite club. When he was there, he lost 2 semifinals because he just overthought it. Tried to play completely out of the way that the team plays on a week-in, week-out basis.
Yeah. Austin looks like he knows what we're talking about, so.
Austin didn't even know that there was a Champions League final this weekend.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
But you know me, Manchester United fan. My brother's a Manchester City fan. I was bragging.
You guys both go home with no trophies, but
And he mentioned about the Europa League, and I'm like, oh, got me there. But that I said to him like, oh, Premier League title is ours next year. So
yeah, but think about that. The Premier League, I feel like, is going to be so competitive next year.
Mm-hmm.
3 of the 4 teams in these finals were English teams.
Mm-hmm. And players can say, because was it like Liverpool? Liverpool was really injured this year too. So okay. So yes, was Liverpool? Did Liverpool suffer from a lot of injuries this year too?
Yeah, they suffered from a lot of injuries, which cost them in all competitions really.
Mm-hmm. So with Liverpool, you got United, you got City, you got Chelsea.
Yeah, that's about it. I'm not going to throw Tottenham or Arsenal in there. They suck.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Wait, was it PGA?
The PGA Championship.
Mm.
Phil Mickelson, oldest major winner ever at 50 years old.
Mm.
And this just means that Tiger Woods is going to have to come back next year and win one at 51. That's what that means. He's just going to have to do it now because he always has to be one better than Phil Mickelson.
Yeah. I was trying to say PSG, but I actually said PGA. Not totally forgot about the soccer championship, but.
I thought you were trying to move on to the PGA Championship, the golf thing. That was 2 weeks ago, but yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if PSG is is that Premier League or is that?
No, that's in France.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, PGA, yeah. And also, speaking of which, Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers.
I love these.
Golf.
So Tom Brady and Phil Mickelson versus Aaron Rodgers and Bryson DeChambeau. It should be a fun. I mean, they've all been so much fun to watch. So.
Yeah, and I feel like Tom Brady's gonna win since Aaron Rodgers used to losing to Tom Brady. So by now,
I don't know. This one's probably This is a close matchup here.
I'm assuming that LeBron can golf. I want to see MJ versus LeBron and a little golfing game. That'd be nice to see. I know MJ loves to golf.
LeBron could definitely not golf.
Bro, LeBron can do anything. He can play football. He can play soccer.
MJ is like a single-digit handicap. He's a really good golfer.
So can we see Steph Curry versus MJ? I know Steph Curry loves to golf.
Steph Curry would beat him. Steph Curry's even better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why he isn't the GOAT.
Yeah, but in golf, I think Steph Curry would beat him.
All these 9-year-old kids saying, "Oh, you see that Steph Curry beat MJ in golf? He's the GOAT." But yeah, we're carrying on this podcast a little bit too long. We have everything done, so let's wrap it all up. And this is probably the shortest podcast we ever had. So follow us, like and subscribe, turn those notifications on. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram. You guys got anything else to say?
Nope.
And we'll see you guys tomorrow. I can't wait till the Thunder have the first and 5th pick.
I'm outside in an AMG, right outside, TT, 2-turn baby girl, you know me, still with the dog. knows that I